Hello there, dudes and dudettes of the internet. It is RetroKaizer here, and welcome to a quad turbocharged 2JZ, which makes about 6,000 horsepower and 1,000 bars of boost. And this video is going to be very useful for you if you have taken the decision of buying the GT40. Yes, sir. Is the GT40 worth 25 million yen? That is the question. Yes, sir. I mean, freaking nothing has been so damn expensive in this game. The GT40 opens up a whole new gate of like absurd in terms of price. I mean, if you buy the GT40, you're like basically Andrew Tate of MRT. Oh, what color is your GT40? Yeah, exactly. So, is it worth your money? Is it worth grinding so much to get to 25 million and just buy this damn car? Well, me and Dragon did the most sensible thing. Ford versus Ferrari. Okay, the closest competitor that the GT40 has right now is the Testarossa in terms of price and in terms of performance. So, we put them both head to head and we extensively tested the hell out of it. And here are the results, which I think might just shock you. And before we go forward, please people, do hit that like button and do hit the subscribe button so that you never miss an upload from RetroKaizer. And without further ado, let's get straight into the video. Okay, so a basic introduction for all of you beginners out there and for people who don't really know what the GT40 is all about. The GT40 in MRT is a car which is ridiculously priced at 25 million yen and will require you to grind your ass off until like there's nothing left but 2 blocks in the name of your butt. And yeah, that is basically what the GT40 is. Now in terms of performance, it is a very good performance car. It is a very highly ranked performance car, but it suffers from one thing, and that is the braking. Yes sir, the braking of this car and the stability of this car are pretty much the things that I am gonna like state as its downsides, because in all the tests we did with the GT40, the Testarossa was able to handle its own, as you will see in the upcoming tests that were in this video. But the GT40 struggles a lot in a lot of ways, which I will be explaining and which you will see in this video. So, is it worth 25 million? Well, once again, let's find out. And is the Testarossa better than this or not? Let's find out that as well as we go towards the tests that me and Dragon conducted, both on Ichikawa and C1, because we don't have the balls to go anywhere near Otsuki, especially with the GT40. Okay, so the first test we're doing here is on Ichikawa, and we chose Ichikawa because of Turnpike, which is a high-speed toge route for best suited for these cars. And well, we have a Ford versus Ferrari moment right here because the Testarossa is the closest competitor to the GT40 at the moment. I mean, in terms of price and performance. Now, we're basically going to be seeing if the GT40 can handle itself on Turnpike as good as the Testarossa can, because we have driven and seen a bunch of Testarossas on this track, and we gotta see if like 25 million is justified with the GT40 as compared to the Testarossa. Okay, so the races that we did were not actually in events. We did it absolutely freehand. We started from this point onwards, the zebra crossing over there. We started here and we raced both the GT40 and the Testarossa all the way to the top. And long story short, the GT40, which I was driving, which is originally Dragon's car, got smoked by the Testarossa because, well, it decided to spin at around 210 kilometers per hour, and on top of that, it had a hard time on the corners. I mean, it was just locking the wheels whenever I was braking in the middle of the corners. I mean, I couldn't do any early braking, especially before entering a corner. It just wanted to go once you hit the brake once and the wheels get locked up, and it just wants to follow that line which is formed by you braking before that turn. You go straight into the guardrails. Okay, so this is after a total of 6 races because Dragon actually had so many accidents with the GT40 that it was like unbelievable, because he could not literally like control the GT40. However, he is a Testarossa master, okay? Like, Dragon always smokes me in his Testarossa, and so I gave him my Testarossa and I told him, okay man, you're crashing with the GT40 too many times, let's see how you do with the Testarossa. Now, I am in the lead with the GT40 right now, but this whole thing went so neck and neck. I mean, it was like I don't know how to put it. It was very, very close. I mean, if there's one thing that I have noticed with the GT40, it is that you really need to watch out for your braking. I mean, you can't brake in the middle of turns like you do with the Testarossa or any other car, because you'll just end up, you know, going into a line which is created after the wheels lock up because you're braking, and that is something which the GT40 is suffering from. You see, I went that wide, smoke came out because when I'm hitting the brakes, the wheels are sort of locking up. I mean, it's forming this weird and awkward line which makes you go wide and straight into the wall. However, if you are engine braking, like over here, I am not really hitting the brakes, I'm just taking my hand off the throttle and just turning in, the car is actually then being tame. It isn't being, you know, that unpredictable or ready to spin off, because the car, however, is something very dangerous. When you are going in turns, like I will show you in this upcoming turn right here, in the straights it's very fast, but in the turns like this, do not even think about early braking into the turn or accelerating when you're in the turn, because if you're accelerating in the turn like one long tap, you will instantly spin out. Now, as you can see, I mean, I'm still struggling with this GT40. I mean, it's a lot of work to keep it as stable as it is in this video right here, and he is like gone and in front of me because the Testarossa is actually faster in all the turns because it can hold lines much more better. Now, I couldn't brake because the brakes are so tight that it just locks up, and I went straight into the wall. As you can see right here, I trapped the brake a bit too much and it starts making the car go sideways. That is something which is very problematic with the GT40, especially in turns and when downshifting. You really have to keep those RPMs in check when downshifting, because if you do at least a 19-20 sort of a deal, like you're just 1% off of your accuracy with the braking, you're done for, because the GT40 is not forgivable at all. I'm gonna say this right here because the GT40 is not anywhere close to being a beginner friendly car. It is actually something which someone who has good experience playing MRT should buy. No beginner should buy the GT40, especially, you know, after racing up and, you know, saving money. If you're used to it like an R34, or if you're used to an Evo, you're gonna have a really hard time, because me and Dragon here, we're used to driving Testarossas, Countachs and stuff like that, and we're struggling hard. And with that note, the GT40 smokes the Testarossa on Ichikawa after a whole lot of struggle, because honestly, the GT40 is just way too much hassle to keep in a straight line. I mean, even the race lines, you want to make your car follow your race lines, the GT40 is going to be a whole lot more trouble. I mean, you can beat the Testarossa with the GT40 like me, but it's going to be a whole lot of hassle. The GT40 is good for acceleration. It is good for more acceleration than the Testarossa, but if the Testarossa catches you, you won't be able to, you know, outrun it that easily, especially in the turns, because the Testarossa can handle its corners a whole lot more better and is a lot more stable than the GT40. Okay, so the final test we're doing here on C1 is we're gonna see how the GT40 is gonna be able to stack up against the Testarossa, because so far the Testarossa has been really easy to handle compared to the GT40. I mean, they're both neck and neck at the moment, but once again, the Testarossa handles its lines way better than the GT40, and we're basically gonna see which car is gonna, you know, provide the better laps. So let's go ahead and see what happens. So the Testa and the GT40 are lined up. I'm in the GT40 and Dragon's in my Testarossa. So we're gonna be seeing what's gonna happen. And honestly, a pretty big, you know, problem that the GT40 suffers from actually becomes apparent in this first trial right here. I do get off the line faster because I did, you know, I timed it right, and I shifted my gears a lot more quicker. But wait till the GT40, you know, goes towards the exit of the first tunnel that it enters. As you can see, I can't really push it because it's really unstable, and it, you know, isn't really giving me any good feedback that yes, I can take this turn. Now, if you notice something, as soon as I hit the brakes, it really starts to become uneasy, and as you can see, it really fishtailed and it just dukes itself out. That is a very big flaw of the GT40. The brakes lock up. Now, this is the second try, and this is where, you know, unfortunately Dragon ends up crashing, but I just go ahead and see how the GT40 can, you know, handle the track. And well, the first problem becomes more and more apparent. And so the worst part of the GT40 has to be its brakes, because the brakes always lock the wheels up. It was the same story on Ichikawa, and it was the same story on C1. The only good option that you really have in terms of slowing the car down is engine braking. That's the only choice you have with the GT40 if you want to, get in a lap without spinning out or like crashing into anything, or, locking your wheels up and going straight into the barrier. Because unfortunately, once again, in high-speed situations, braking is not that good of an option with the GT40, because it will lock the wheels up, it will break your line, and it will not respond to your input. Now, once again, I'm putting an emphasis on this, that the car that we tested was totally stock, okay? This is another big point. You can actually push the GT40's performance into a different dimension through tuning, especially now since we got the weight reduction update and we got a whole lot more goodies in the tunings now. So you can absolutely get better times and better, feedback from the car once you tune its springs up, do a bit of weight reduction, get some more acceleration going, tune the gears. So the things that you will require to do that are basically a whole lot of money and a really high manufacturer level with the Walter company, the Ford company that is in MRT. Now, if there's an easy way to sort of get a more higher manufacturer level, I suggest, if you have on a Ford RS200, just start grinding with it, just use it everywhere. On the Toge, especially on the Toge, and on C1, everywhere. So you can really raise your manufacturer level just by doing that. Now, this is basically, what you're gonna be able to do with the GT40. Its performance stays the same on Ichikawa and on C1 because it suffers from the same problems that I've previously discussed. Now, moving towards the conclusion. Okay, so the conclusion to this entire video, is the GT40 worth 20 million? Is it worth your money? Is it worth grinding for? Yes and no. Now, you have to, have two perspectives if you're thinking about the GT40. If you are thinking about the GT40 from a racer's perspective, a pure racer, someone who is, keen on grinding and not really, having the flashiest car, or having the most expensive car, or having, something which is gonna be, ooh, I have a car worth 20 million, check it out. The Testarossa is obviously the better bet, because the Testarossa handles its lines a whole lot more better than the GT40. Once again, if you are looking from a racer's perspective. Now, if you wanna, have a GT40 and be a racer, you can do that. It's your, way, not mine. But if you are looking from a perspective of a collector, someone who is a tuner, or someone who loves to, tune his cars up and race along the maps, then you should 100% go for the GT40, because honestly, in stock form, the GT40 isn't a good companion. It is a very tough car to drive if you are running stock. If you are running tuned, the story can obviously change a whole lot more, and it can become a whole lot more easier to drive, because it will be a lot more responsive, it will react better, and it will obviously, give you a better sense of drive feel. But if you do not tune it, then, well, you, my friend, are having to, you're basically saying, I want a tough time. If you're a masochist, go ahead, man. If you love feeling pain, go ahead, keep it stock and race against tuned Testarossas. You're gonna feel a whole lot of pleasure. But if you really want to get serious with the GT40, me and Dragon, both of us are suggesting tune the heck out of the GT40, only then you'll be able to get good performance. So, once again, buy it. Okay, if you want to buy it, just go ahead and buy it. Don't think too much. But if you do not want to spend too much money and you want more performance, go for the Testarossa. Do not even look at the GT40. That is basically the conclusion. So those were all the points that me and Dragon could narrow down from doing all these tests with the Testarossa and the GT40. Now, if you want to buy it, it's up to you. If you don't want to buy it, it's up to you. We gave you the details. Now it's totally up to you what you want to do. If you're ready to spend 20 million and grind your ass off, go ahead and do it. If you don't want to spend 20 million and want a great performance car, go for the Testarossa. It's all up to you. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I really hope you found this video to be informative, especially you beginners out there. Be smart when you're spending your money so you won't feel disappointed in MRT, because it's a really fun game and you can have lots of good fun if you know how to spend your money properly behind fun cars and not something which you're gonna regret. So This is RetroKaizer signing off, and I hope this video was absolutely useful to you. It was really fun to make, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. So, see you guys in the next video. Until then, peace.